Yo, what's up guys, Fleur here, and we got a college football video here today. This will be my top 25 polls on Heisman watch following the week of number 11 in the college football season. So, we have a new number 1 now. It is going to be Oregon. They are 10-0 after demolishing Cal 59-17. Moving from 3 up to 2 is Kansas State. They are 10-0, and they beat TCU 23-10. Moving from 5 up to 3 is Notre Dame, the third of the last undefeated teams. They're 10-0 after beating Boston College 21-6. And then staying at number 4 is Georgia. And their record 9-1 after shutting out Auburn 38-0. And then Alabama was number 5, dropping down from 1. This is that game was just crazy. So they're now 9-1, getting their first loss, 29-24 to Texas A&M. And moving from 10 up to 6 LSU, they're 8-2, and they won 37-17 over Mississippi State. And moving from 6 down to 7 is Florida State. So they dropped one spot because they had a tough game. They're 9-1 after beating Virginia Tech 28-22, which is a really good game. I was watching it. Moving from 9 up to 8 is going to be Florida. They are 27-20 after. They're 9-1 and they won 27-20 over UL Lafayette. They almost got upset, but then they got a nice punt, they blocked the punt and returned it for a touchdown with 5 seconds left in the game, which is crazy. And then moving from 11 up to 9 is going to be South Carolina. They have 8-2 record after winning 38-20 over Arkansas. Moving from 12 up to 10 is going to be Stanford. They're 8-2 after a good victory over Oregon State 27-23. That's a good win because Oregon State I did have ranked ahead of them because they're a good team. Moving from 8 down to 11 is Clemson. They're 9-1 and they just beat Maryland 45-10. Clemson's got a really good offense, and I don't know why the BCS doesn't rank them higher because their only losses to Florida State. But moving on now, we got moved from 19 up to 12 is going to be Texas A&M. They're 8-2 and they beat Alabama 29-24, so they move up a lot because they knocked off the number 1 team, which is just insane, like I was saying. And then staying at number 13 is Oklahoma, and they are 7-2 on the year after beating Baylor 42-34. And then Nebraska moves from 15 up to 14 after beating Penn State 32-23. That makes their record 8-2. And then moving from 16 up to 15 is Texas. They're 8-2 after beating Iowa State 33-7. Then moving from 17 up to 16 is Rutgers. They're 8-1 after beating Army 28-7. And then moving from 7 down to 17 is Louisville. They got their first loss, and they just got blown out by Syracuse 45-26. Moving from 20 up to 18 is Michigan. Their record is now 7-3 after beating Northwestern 30-31 in overtime. Moving from 21 up to 19 is UCLA. Their record is 8-2 after a win over Washington State 44-36. Moving from 22 up to 20 is going to be Louisiana Tech. They're 9-1 and they had a shootout against Texas State and they ended up winning 62-55. Then moving down from 14 to 21 is Oregon State, and they are 7-2 after their second loss in a row. This one they lost to Stanford 27-23. And now 22, they weren't ranked last week, but now they are number 22, Oklahoma State. Their record's 6-3, and they won 55-34 over West Virginia. That was West Virginia's 4th loss in a row, which is crazy because they started off like 6-0 or 7-0. And then USC jumps back into the top 25. They're number 23, and the record's 7-3 after a win 38-17 over Arizona State. And then also jumping back in the top 25 is Texas Tech, and they have a 7-3 record after beating Kansas 41-34 in overtime. And then still at number 25 is Boise State. They now have a record of 8-2 after beating Hawaii 49-14. Teams that dropped out are Northwestern, Mississippi State, and TCU. So now moving on to the Heisman. Number 1, we have Colin Klein still, the Kansas State quarterback, dual threat. In this game, he had 145 yards, and he did throw 1 interception, no touchdowns. Completed 57% of his passes, and then he had 50 rushing yards for 2 rushing touchdowns. And then another dual threat quarterback at number 2, Johnny Football Manziel. That kid is just amazing, just a freshman. So I don't think he'll be able to be at Colin Klein this year for the Heisman, but next year he'll be a preseason favorite. He was 24-31 for 253 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against that amazing Alabama defense, and he also had 92 rushing yards. That's an average of 5.1 yards per carry. Number 3 is going to be Kenyon Barner, the Oregon running back. Kind of an off week. He had 65 rushing yards and also 3 catches for 35 receiving yards. Then number 4 is A.J. McCarron, the Alabama quarterback. Had 309 yards and 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. He had not had an interception all year, but he threw 2 against Texas A&M, and he completed 62% of his passes. And number 5, I have Marquise Lee, the wide receiver from USC. He had 10 catches for 161 yards and a touchdown, and he also ran the ball 6 times for 66 yards. That's a really good game for him. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please click on that subscribe button. And as always, I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day. Peace.